So when we look at the length of the alimentary canal, of course, we usually look at it from an outside perspective and think of it as a simple tube, but there's much more to it than that. This is kind of a perspective of some hypothetical length of the alimentary canal. So we have the innermost layer that is called the submucosa, which surrounds that lumen where the food is going to be. So this is the mucosa. The submucosa is going to surround the mucosa. The muscularis externa surrounds that, and then there is the serosa, which is the externalmost layer here, or the internalmost layer, depending on how you think about it. Remember that the lumen of the gastrointestinal tract is continuous with the outside of the body, so technically the mucosa is the outermost layer of the gastrointestinal tract. All right, so when we look at the mucosa, it's actually set up with epithelial tissue on the outside, and it can either be simple columnar epithelium in the stomach, large intestines, and small intestines, or it could be stratified squamous epithelium in the mouth, pharynx, and esophagus. And it actually has a lamina propria underlying it, which is a small amount of connective tissue, and then it has a small amount of muscle associated with it as well that gives some tone to this layer of the gastrointestinal tract. Underlying the mucosa then is the submucosa. The submucosa is primarily made of dense irregular connective tissue. It has blood vessels, it has lymphatics, it has glands buried in it. Most of your enzymes are going to be created in this layer. A lot of the mucus is going to be created in this layer. Or I should say the mucus is going to be created by goblet cells on the inside, but a lot of your other secretions are going to be created in the submucosa. You'll notice that there are some nerve tissues as well in here. This is called the submucosal plexus. It innervates both the mucosa and the submucosa, and it allows for example, salivation in the mouth, or it allows for the for glands to release their substances in a more direct way and things like that. So the submucosa is directly innervated for a couple of different reasons. I'd say the innervation that is most specific to what we are interested in would be the innervation of the next layer. So the muscularis externa is of course made of muscle. There's actually two layers of muscle. There's a longitudinal layer of muscle on the outside here, and then there is a circular layer of muscle on the inside. And so this allows for not bidirectional movement, but it allows for two different ways that food can move along many parts of the gastrointestinal tract. The movements of this muscle then of these muscles are coordinated by a specific type of nervous system called the ENS, or the enteric nervous system. This consists of 100 million neurons that are specifically innervating the digestive tract, mostly by parasympathetic innervation through the vagus nerve or cranial nerve 10. But also there will be some sympathetic innervation. Generally speaking, most of organs are going to have dual innervation. There's a series of neurons that it's actually sandwiched in between the longitudinal and circular layers, and this is called the myenteric plexus. This is an extension of the enteric nervous system. And again, this allows for contraction of those muscles. All right, and then lastly, the outermost layer is called the serosa. It has a very different character in many different parts of the gastrointestinal tract. For example, in the esophagus, it's going to be called adventitia. It will be part of the visceral peritoneum in portions of the abdominal cavity. In general, its purpose is to create anchoring and protection for the innermost parts of the gastrointestinal tract.